Hello, welcome, Dr. Mulholland from Laguna Beach, California, and we're talking about the hands-free products from InMode. The Evolve X for body contouring and the Define for lower face and submetal contouring. When I say contouring, for the body, it's skin tightening, fat destruction with or without muscle hypertrophy. On the lower face and submentum, it's fat destruction and or skin tightening. In a hands-free model, in a painless fashion with no disposable and consumable. We've got our young lady here, let's zoom in, and you can see we've got her tummy hooked up with 4 applicators. Each applicator is about the size of my hand. You get 6 of them, so a very, very large surface area. We're hooked up to some cords, so some energy is coming through these cords. Because it's InMode, it's going to be bipolar radio frequency energy and electrical current. And if we look at the undersurface of each one of these applicators, we see bipolar radio frequency configuration. 3 positive electrodes and 3 negative side electrodes. Like all things InMode, it's contained bipolar energy that flows positive to negative, 1 million cycles per second, back and forth, 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 back and forth. Under each of these 6 electrodes, negative and 3 positive, so 9 electrodes, are going to be 9 sensors that you'll see lit up when we hook the machine up. These sensors measure the temperature and the impedance under each one of these electrodes, 3 positive and 6 negative. That is 9 sensors across 6 applicators. That's 54 measurements 1,000 times a second, ensuring that the skin gets to 43 degrees and the fat gets to 45 degrees. For 2 seconds, it's bipolar radio frequency energy, back and forth, for skin tightening, fat destruction. Then for 2 seconds in the duty cycle, the positive electrodes turn off, and direct current flows from side to side, down through the fat, which provides additional fat destruction, and down to the muscle for tetanic supraphysiologic contraction. So this one applicator has a tremendous amount of technology in it. Bipolar radio frequency current for skin tightening, for fat destruction, and muscle hypertrophy. And so we've got our young lady from this morning who had her quantum treatment on the tummy. We're going to see that tomorrow morning. We've hooked her up over the same tissue to 4 applicators for the Transform. Now let's go over to the Evolve X there, Dimitri, and we can see Jordan, who's one of the many talented nurse trainers that come into your office and show you how to use the Quantum, how to use the Optimus, how to use the Empower. They unpack and don't unpack, you've unpacked it, but it helps set up the Evolve X and the Define training. So walk us through the Evolve X, the user interface screen, turning it on, and how you hook up these cords there, Jordan.
Sure. It's very simple. Once you connect your wires to whatever applicator you're using, you'll open your software and the machine automatically detects which technology that is, whether it's the Transform, the Tight, or the Tone. Once you do that, it's going to go through and load up those applicators depending on the wires you've connected. I've configured it so that we'll get muscle contraction on the right and then on the left, every other pulse pattern. So we load up our software. I kind of preheated her while you were speaking.
Now, if we look at what Jordan's got there, each of these squares is one applicator. As I showed you, there are 9 electrodes. The 3 central are positive, the 3 on each side are negative. You've got 3 positive and 6 negative. And each one of those electrodes is monitored by a sensor to get to the endpoint. Now, thermal endpoint is a color grade along the top. We want to get to 40 to be in the money, then 41, 42, 43. So our endpoint to the skin is 43 degrees. We'll talk about the fat and how we get it to 44, 45, and what we do with the muscle. So Jordan has her hooked up. She's kind of started out, it would have been blue like this, very cold. We want to very quickly, over 3 or 4 minutes, get into the sweet spot where we're tightening skin and killing fat. So we're going to hit the energy, go right to the top at 30 watts. We're going to do our cutoff temperature at 43 degrees, and InMode is temperature impedance controlled bipolar RF.